Hello everyone! With all of us anxiously waiting for the first official news regarding a Dominion DLC for Jurassic World Evolution 2, this is the time to have an updated look at what we can realistically expect from the DLC, including its release date. I am confident that this will be the most exciting DLC ever. We are 100% getting more dinosaurs, but which and how many? I don't actually think we are getting every single dinosaur and creature that we know to be in the movie, simply because it would be so much. So the last few entries on this list I'm considering quite unlikely, simply because I'm pessimistic that way, but this is the full potential list of what could get added to the game. And these would be my personal favorites that I'm keeping my fingers crossed for. Of course, if Frontier feels like spoiling us, I want them all, and I want them right now, but again, I'm too pessimistic to count on that. And I just think having that Baryonyx with the prosthetic arm could be really cool. A Baryonyx that you saved from a dino fight club and are now coaching through like therapy. But it's difficult because, you know, the first rule about Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club, but therapy is a lot of talking. I should stick to what we're actually talking about. Let me know in a comment down below which species you want to see added to the game the most. Oddly, dinosaurs are only a small part of what has to be an immense DLC. The most obvious addition is a new Chaos Theory mode. There is a slot ready and waiting for it since the release of the base game. Now, we still don't know the ins and outs of the plot of Dominion, which makes speculating about a what-if scenario pretty pointless, because there's no firm starting point yet, so we don't know what would be a what-if alternative for the film. But I am assuming that the Chaos Theory for Dominion will probably focus a lot on capturing dinosaurs in the wild, very similar to the first mission of the campaign. I don't honestly have great expectations for the Chaos Theory mode. I had plenty great expectations for it before the base game ever came out. I had some very wild and I think interesting theories for it, but in the end, after playing them, I found all of them to be kind of underwhelming and certainly not at all inventive. So that is why my initial prediction for the Dominion Chaos Theory mode is also just very basic. As always though, I'd love to be pleasantly surprised. Possibly the most important addition will be the continuation of the campaign. The incomplete campaign that the game currently has really deducts points off the game overall. It has been a gaping obvious hole. The current campaign ends with hints that the dinosaurs won't stay in the sanctuaries that we built for them during the campaign, but will go elsewhere. The campaign continuation would delve further into that story, and it will likely have close ties to plot points of Jurassic World Dominion, which is why that part of the campaign has been held back all this time, to avoid spoiling things that'll happen in the movie. If you want to see me play whatever they actually do add to the game, please consider subscribing to the channel, join the 101,000 awesome people, and turn on notifications to be top tier awesome and never miss an upload with information, inspiration, and entertainment regarding Jurassic World Evolution 2. One of the things I am most excited for is the prospect of new locations. I think and hope that we are getting a map located in the mountains of Italy, where we now know the Biosyn facility to be located. It would be super cool to have this Biosyn facility as a building on the map itself, comparable to the amphitheater on the San Diego map, but I think it's more realistic to expect it to be a building just beyond the border of the map, similar to the airport right by the Pennsylvania map and the city of San Diego in the backdrop of the San Diego map, simply because the Biosyn facility is a really huge building. Of course, they could scale it down for the purpose of making it available within the map itself. But given how global Dominion's storyline appears to be, I think we will be getting a couple of new maps. I think it's very possible that we are getting a permanently snowy map as well as a Mediterranean map. But maybe I'm veering too much into wishful thinking at this point. I do think that an Italian-based map is very likely, considering that's where the majority, and if not the majority, then at least the big finale of everything will be taking place. So I think we are getting that location. In terms of buildings and decorations, there doesn't seem to be much from the movie that they can add to the game. This picture with Dr. Sadler suggests that they will go to a sanctuary of some sort, but buildings that would be there would be stuff we already have in the game. Other locations like the city of Malta and the Biosyn research facility don't lend themselves well to adding stuff to a park building game. It is possible that the scene where Sadler goes to recruit Grant shows some tents and things fitting for an excavation site that they could bring into the game. It would be a fun little Easter egg and a fun little scene that we could recreate, having some stuff to do, create a make-pretend dinosaur fossil excavation site. I'm also expecting the Atrociraptor cages to be added to the selection of cages that we already have. And I wouldn't be surprised if they added stationary decorative jeeps, including an overturned jeep, as well as of course Biosyn skins for our functional jeeps, as well as the choppers and MVUs. Finally, the outpost building that seems to have a fairly significant role in the finale of the movie could make its way into the game. It would be cool if it had a unique function, like a security post, and it gives a radius that adds to the security rating of your park. But again, I think that is very far into wishful thinking category. Now, speaking of the wishful thinking category, a breeding mechanic and a cosmetic feature added to the incubation process to give more species feathers would be firmly on the wish list. But honestly, I've always doubted it would happen, and I still do. Again, I would love to be pleasantly surprised, but I don't think it's happening. Actually, I never even entertained that a proper breeding mechanic would even be a thing, but I previously suggested that they could add some baby dinosaurs as model alternates and introduce babies that way. So it's not really a functional mechanic, it's just really a cosmetic option to create miniature dinosaurs that could function as babies. But even that, I'm even less convinced of. I was never convinced of it in the first place, but I expect it to be even less likely at this point, just given how much that I think we're already getting in this DLC. Now, remember when I predicted the release date of Jurassic World Evolution 2? It is like my one moment of glory. Actually, it was my second prediction. My first prediction was a slightly different date, but my second prediction was spot on. Now, for the Dominion DLC, Evil Holmes predicts the release date to be the 14th of June. Two factors go into this. First of all, Tuesday is simply prime release day for Frontier. They love releasing base games and DLCs on Tuesdays. The second factor is they can't release it before Dominion comes out. The general consensus is that all of the Dominion content that is coming was originally going to be part of the base game until the movie got delayed, of course, and then all that content had to be pulled back to avoid spoilers. So by that logic, the Dominion content includes movie spoilers, and Universal doesn't want to have that out into the world before their movie. Hence, the DLC would have to come after the movie's premiere. Now, the movie's premiere varies a little bit depending on the country, but the international marketing has the date set as June 10th, so the first Tuesday after that would be June 14th. The second most likely option, in my opinion, for the release date of the Dominion DLC would be June 10th itself, in line with the Fallen Kingdom content that got added to the first game, also on the day of the movie's release. With that track record, why do I consider that to be less likely than the 14th, you might be wondering? I'm reading your mind right now. Wouldn't it just make more sense for history to repeat itself? Well, actually, yes, it does. It would make more sense for history to repeat itself, and that's why I have it as my second option, my second likely prediction. But a game launches earlier in the day, whereas most people would go see a movie in the evening. So if it releases on the same day as the movie, the content will still be seen ahead of the movie, and spoilers will spread on the internet like wildfire, as they do. Moreover, not everyone will be able to see the movie on the day of its release, so letting one weekend pass to give the majority of the superfans a fair chance to see the movie first, that would make sense to me. But Evo, as you just said, the Fallen Kingdom DLC also released on the same day as the movie, so why would this be different? Well, yes, but the Fallen Kingdom game content did not contain any real spoilers for the movie. It was just a bunch of dinosaurs. This Dominion DLC is vastly different. Even without knowing yet exactly what we will get, we do know it is going to have way more content. It has to have way more content. And that means actual potential for spoilers. The two are not comparable. And for that same reason, I also still think the Dominion DLC will not be free, unlike the Fallen Kingdom content for the first game. The community is still fighting about this one, in my comment sections at least. I would love for it to be free. It would be a gift from the gods. But at the end of the day, it's business and it's a lot of content if my predictions are even close to being right. So I'm not expecting it to be free. Again, very open to being pleasantly surprised. Comment down below when you think the Dominion DLC will launch, and let's just keep our fingers crossed that we get our first trailer for the DLC very soon. Or even just official confirmation. I love that we're all just waiting for this thing that hasn't even, like, officially been announced yet. Like, not at all. But we know it's coming. Thank you so much for watching, liking, subscribing, and until next time, enjoy the game.